Hello there.
How are you guys doing? Welcome to the channel. My name is Fareed. I'm behind the camera right now, and I have a special guest that many of you within the Cornucopias community will recognize, and that's Rob Greig, who is one of the co-founders of the Cornucopias project. Rob, how you doing today, man?
Yeah, doing really well. Hello
Awesome.
there. How's you all doing?
I am good, and I'm sure the community is good, especially after CNFTCon, which was an awesome event in which we saw the Cornucopias team have their own booth, and they also demoed the first ever playable version of Solace, and I believe the UE5 racing game. What were your thoughts on that, Rob?
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. It's almost like a coming of age for our project, where we could come show off our two different games, like you say, our Metaverse game and our racing game, both multiplayers, and actually have public get their hands on it and play it in this live environment. So it was really good and good fun, and it went down really well.
No, I'm super happy to hear that. Now, on top of that, I believe you guys had a very special guest from within the Cardano community that stopped by to actually play the game. You mind telling us a little bit about that story?
Yes, so Charles was on stage, and as he came off stage, he was going to walk around all the booths. So I thought this is a great opportunity to grab Charles and see if he wants to come play. So he's a bit of a Pied Piper. As he walks down, he gets this bit of a following, so I knew he was going to come down here, so I kind of headed him off at the pass, grabbed his hand and said, Charles, do you want to come and race some bubble jets? And he said, let's go and do it. So he carried on walking and looked at some other booths. I kind of darted off to the side, and I said to one of our guys, whoever's on that game, see if they've finished. Don't kick them off, but be nice and say, look, Charles is on his way.
Are you sure you said not to kick them off, Rob?
Definitely not. I would never do that to the people that have come all the way to Vegas to play our game. Gotcha. But fortunately, the game only lasts a few minutes anyway. But Charles actually took about 10 minutes to get through all the crowd, stopping at the booths, coming to play there. And then he finally sat down with myself and Josh, and we had a bit of a race, a bit of a bubble jet and javelin race.
Who won? You know I have to ask that. Who won?
I do know exactly who won. Josh and myself, we'd kind of imagine, if Charles did ever play, should we let Charles win? Would it be like the political answer? But no, I won.
I see.
I won. I couldn't give it up.
I was hoping we're going to get a humble Rob who's going to let Charles win, but that does not seem to be the case.
There definitely is a humble side of me, but when it comes to gaming and competition, yeah, I only play to win. I don't know how else. I don't know how to play to lose.
Gotcha. I think many of us within this gaming space also feel that way. Yep. Gaming can just be a competitive sport in general, and I believe we're going to talk a little bit about esports here in just a minute, but before we do that, let's go ahead and head back to the couch. Let's get a little bit more comfortable.
Sure.
And then we'll kind of chop it up about Cornucopias, which you guys are doing.
I can walk backwards, or I can walk sideways.
You can walk sideways. I can get you from the back, whatever you're comfortable with, man. But yeah, I mean, it's been an awesome week here. This is actually, I believe, where we shot the Kopi Cafe episode number 27.
27?
Yeah, how was that for you?
Yeah, it was great. This is our third on location Kopi Cafe. Mm-hmm. We did one in Manchester with the team a few months ago. We did one last week at CNFTCon, and then we've just finished filming one today here at Rarebloom, where we actually had not one but two influencers take over the show. I don't know if you want to comment on that.
Yeah, no, I don't want to comment on that just yet. I know things are probably still getting processed, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that particular episode launch. So with that said, let me set this down. I'm going to get comfortable.
Come join me.
I'm going to come join you right over there, man. All right, you're looking good, and I believe we're all straight and center.
There you are.
Pleasure. Thank you so much, Rob, for the time that you're allowing me. Again, I know we've run into each other, I think, multiple times. I think the first time was at Consensus.
Yes, back in June.
Yeah, I was starstruck. We met again a second time last week at CNFTCon, and I was starstruck again. and then we met yesterday here at Rarebloom. So it feels like we've been following each other. At least I've been following you guys. But it's been an experience.
And you're no longer starstruck now. Now you're just part of the team.
No, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. You guys are very, very welcoming. Not just yourself, obviously. You know, Josh. Jeff, I got to meet as well, and then Ant, who's actually chatting it up over here as well. But man, the Copy team is very, very awesome. I appreciate what you guys are doing here for the community, and you guys are spreading awareness. Now, I know over here at Rarebloom, you guys are kind of taking it easy, right? You guys don't have a booth here?
No, not here. It was a lot of setup when we were at CNFTCon, and we had 12 team members. So we didn't really want them to stay the whole week like we've done. It gets quite expensive, and those guys are building a game. So we thought that for the second one, for the Rarebloom, that gives us an opportunity to actually go out and talk to people, because while we're in those booths, we got to speak to some of the projects, right? But most of the time, you know, we were kind of wanting to be by our booth. So this has been a great opportunity to now just to soak it in as part of the community.
Right. And I'm sure there's been plenty of people that attended both events, you know, that have been coming up to you guys and letting you know what kind of experience they had. I was actually lucky enough to be able to play as one of the first players, you know, the Solace exploration game where we had to find Farmer Joe. And when I tell you, man, I was blown away by the graphics, the motion, everything, you know, how realistic the environment looked. And so I can finally, you know, say, okay, like, we've seen you guys building, but to finally be able to get my hands on it, to be able to play, you know, play the multiplayer game, the racing game, those were all huge moments for myself, and I'm sure for you and the team as well. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, we put that game together just for CNFTCon. So it is the Metaverse. It is Solace 1. So it's the first of the Solace maps. And the idea was you go around this 8 kilometer by 8 kilometer map within 10 minutes to go and find Farmer Joe, who is camping out somewhere. So that the first person ever to play Cornucopias was a 9-year-old boy. And the second person ever to play Cornucopias was yourself.
Yes.
And you were also the first person actually to find Farmer Joe. And only 2 people found Farmer Joe on that first day.
That was an experience. And when I tell you, it was pure luck. It was pure luck. There was David that was there from the development team. And he was kind of watching over my shoulder. And when I tell you, I just saw one campfire, I saw another campfire, and I just kept following that, and there he was, Farmer Joe. So I'm super excited to, you know, have had that honor. I'm definitely looking forward to be able to claim that backpack NFT. Yes. For those of us who are watching, you know, can you kind of explain what the utility around that is, or is that still kind of behind closed curtains?
We're not going to reveal what the full utility of a backpack is. Maybe you can kind of guess.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can use it to carry stuff. But short of that, I appreciate that, Rob. All right, so we're going to kind of pick things up a little bit. You guys have obviously been building, even, you know, throughout these events that are going on. Where do you guys stand in terms of game development when it comes to Cornucopias? I know you guys recently had to switch over to upgrade to UE5, and so you guys had to migrate some of the in-game maps that you guys had built and some of the maps and things like that. But where are you guys now in development? Yeah,
we'd always planned to move over to UE5. So we'd been developing on UE4 to begin with, and we knew UE5 was coming out, and we wanted to be one of the first to move over when it was ready. So we built our assets forward built, ready for them. So as soon as the UE5 announced it's now live, because it's been in pre-production for a couple of years, when it actually went live, we quickly moved over, and we were one of the very first projects, and I definitely think one of the first projects in the cryptocurrency space to actually move over to UE5, which was important for us, because it meant that all the work that we'd done previously, you know, which was of an amazing standard, could now go an extra level. So if you look at some of our previous videos that we've shared on YouTube, it actually gave us a chance to up the graphics level again. So I think we probably put an extra 50% more detail now in UE5. Now we learned what were the capabilities of it. So it's made the game even better.
Right. And one thing that I was super impressed about was the amount of detail, like you mentioned, right? So I know in the first iteration of the bubble jet, it was just kind of like the outside. We didn't really get to see the insides or anything like that. And since the UE5 launch, especially at CNFTCon, I took a look at some of the images and the amount of detail you know, the dashboard, the knobs, the buttons, the radio. It's super impressive to see how much you guys are really able to define when it comes to these NFTs.
Well, they were all remodeled. So what you saw and what people played was a 4K game at 60 FPS, which is really hard to do. And it was multiplayer, and we only actually received that build at the morning. So when you say David was watching you go around, he wasn't thinking, oh, look at Fareed going round, look, how's he playing? He's thinking, oh, I hope it doesn't break, I hope it don't go there, or stuff like that. Yeah, it literally was out of the box earlier that morning.
Gotcha. Well, you guys definitely had me fooled. I think you guys did an impressive job when it came to your presentation. And so moving forward, what can we expect for you guys to be working on in terms of development now that you guys kind of have CNFTCon and Rarebloom almost behind you guys? What can we expect for you guys to shift your focus to next?
So we're going to continue to work on the Solace map. That, I would say, is about 90% complete. We've got some more artwork to bring in, so now that the map is kind of defined and all the areas are there, we're going to start building in some of the tasks. So the daily grind, come in, here's a task, go and do this. We're going to work on the farms, how people craft the different buildings, the tools, the mini games that are going to go into that. At the same time, we're working on the artwork for Esperanza, which is the second zone.
Right.
And then we're going to move over to Fortune. So all that the sector, that part of the game, that is under heavy construction at the moment, and that will continue. At the same time, we're also working on the racing game. So you saw the racing game, that went down really, really well. That's already multiplayers. So we're going to continue to improve that, because that, again, we received the build of that in the morning. That had gone through no testing whatsoever. I asked the guys, look, can we have one demo for CNFTCon? And not only did they give us 2 demos, but they gave us 2 multiplayer demos, which was absolutely incredible. So we're going to continue as well to build on the racing game. That will then, we will look to launch that early next year.
Wow. Maybe
Q1, maybe Q2, but that will be a whole racing ecosystem. So we're going to introduce esports onto Cardano, and then as these two, as time goes on and the metaverse gets more and more developed, and as the racing game becomes more and more established, eventually those will come together, because we're building by agile, so we can deliver bits of the metaverse in chunks. When we eventually get to the city and we release the racing district, that's where the racing game will fit into the entire metaverse. But as soon as we can get things ready for the public to start testing, then we will release them, because the feedback that we get is invaluable.
Right, and I believe you guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys may still be undergoing mobile game testing, right? You guys had opened that up to certain members within the community, and I know one of the prominent content creators within the Cornucopia space, Scruffy, had actually broken some of that footage to the public, and so I was watching that live stream, and I was super excited to see that. Are you guys kind of planning to adopt a similar model when it comes to the testing for the racing game before it's released?
Yeah, absolutely, and it will be released in small groups, so the Mythic holders will be able to test that first, which is great, because they're a smaller group of testers, and then we'll move out to the legendaries and so on. And yeah, the mobile game, we got the strategy wrong on that, actually. What we wanted a mobile game, because we have partners in the mobile area, and we thought this would be the best first product that we can finish, complete, and release. And we spent nearly 9 months working on that project. But what that helped us to do is figure out how we do the user stories, work out our testing team. So we've been working on testing software, how to get a strategy to test with the public, how we evaluate that. So lots and lots of infrastructure that we put in place with that. We've built a really great internal testing team, and we've done procedures along the way. But one of the biggest takeoffs that we've had from the community is, because we wanted it to look different from the main game, but we kind of still wanted it to be set in the game, we went for this 2D art version, and as we released that, people thought that was our game. They were saying, this is not UE5,
right.
This is 2D. So we got that completely wrong. So we're actually redoing a new version of the mobile game in UE5. So the graphics will fit in, the pipeline will go through. The existing mobile game was in Unity, so this new one is going to be UE5. The graphics are going to go. It's going to still look slightly different, but it's going to because obviously we don't have the power of a PC. We have the mobiles, but you get some really good graphics on a mobile. So yeah, we are now writing out the requirements of what this new game will be. So it won't be the same as the old one, but it'll be a new game.
That is brand new news to me. I did not know that. I know before you guys were, kind of adamant about making that clear distinction between, the game being built on UE5 and then also the one being built on Unity. But what it sounds like now is that on mobile, you guys will also be shifting to use UE5, but it may just not be as powerful because of, the limitations of the mobile devices.
Yeah, I mean, it will still be high quality. If you look at some mobile games, you get some really high quality games.
Right.
So it will be a high quality graphics game. It won't be the 2D. It'll be a different game, like I say. And yeah, what we've learned in building that previous game has been invaluable. So it's not been a waste of time whatsoever.
Right.
We'll be able to use some of that code because there is similar elements in the new game.
Of course.
But yeah, it's going to be completely different.
I'm excited for it. I might have to go and pick up a mythic NFT vehicle that way I can be considered as a tester for the next round. But that's a huge update when it comes to the development of the Cornucopias Metaverse, and so I want to thank you for that. Next, I kind of want to pivot a little bit and talk about the Chainport Bridge, which, if I'm not mistaken, you guys had initially launched the Cornucopias token on the Binance Smart Chain.
Yep.
Now, since then, you guys, have built so much more on Cardano, and you guys now have launched the Cardano native token, or the Copi token, directly on the blockchain. Now, early on, you guys, I believe, did a migration where you guys had shifted some of the assets minted on the Binance Smart Chain over into Cardano. But what are the plans moving forward for the remainder of the tokens that are currently held on the Binance Smart Chain?
Well, we've always wanted to be interoperable and cross-chain. So our original Copi token was minted as an ERC20 Ethereum, and it was then immediately wrapped and put on Binance. And we wanted to originally have our coin on Cardano, but the tools weren't there, the multi-sig wasn't there, so we didn't have enough tools to protect the coin. The infrastructure wasn't there. Now there's a lot more infrastructure on Cardano.
Right.
But unfortunately, this means that we have our token on Binance and we have it on Cardano, and there's a different price on there.
Right.
So the Chainport Bridge, we will announce some announcement within the next 30 days of when that bridge is going to go live, because we had to wait for Vassal. That's in a good position now. That we just need to do some auditing on that. Then when that bridge is launched, then those two prices will equalize. But our coin will exist on both chains. We've got no plans just to have it just on Cardano. I think for the metaverse to work, we have to do mass adoption, and we're starting on Cardano, but then we have to reach out and bring other people into the Cardano network.
Right. So I guess in that same breath, it sounds like you're still going to keep the BNB, or the Binance Smart Chain tokens, as well as the Cardano native tokens. So does that also mean that you guys could potentially reach out to other blockchains and have the Copi token there?
Yeah. I think so. In the future, I think we'll look at importing or reading NFTs that are on Ethereum, on Binance, and on other chains. We've got no plans on doing that in the short term, and short term is 1 or 2 years. We are firmly grounded within Cardano. We're gonna this for me is the best ecosystem, the best community. So we're going to build our game on Cardano, and we're going to have elements of other chains that come across, and depending on how that's received, we might expand further. But But yeah, at the moment, everything that we're doing is based on Cardano.
Gotcha. No, I appreciate that insight there, Rob. And so we're going to kind of keep things moving a little bit. Next, I want to talk a little bit actually more about the Copi token itself, right? So while we're here, I know you guys have had about 4 or 5 different NFT mints, starting off with the Bubble Jets, then the GTI Javelin, then the OG Bubble Jets, and then we recently saw 2 additional NFT land sales. Now, in order to have participated in those sales, you had to use ADA. And so what are the plans now moving forward when it comes to the Copi token utility? Are there plans to allow people who are looking to participate in these sales to use the Copi token to make their purchases?
Yeah, so like you say, we've done a couple of mints. We started off with the Bubble Jet mint. We then did the Javelin mint, which didn't go so well, which that then meant that we gave away $1 million worth of NFTs to our public, because we thought it was important. Even today, we've met a few people that have been here from Hong Kong. They said they were part of that original mint.
Wow.
We were thinking about them, that they were up at 3-4 in the morning when that mint kind of gone astray.
Right.
I don't think there's any project on many chains that when they've launched, their initial mints have gone well. So that meant that we needed to look heavily on building our own NFT tech, because at the time we were using different tech. So since then we've concentrated on, and we've built, I think, one of the best minting technologies on Cardano, if not some of the other blockchains as well. Among that, we also found a way of doing 3 free mints. So that was with Veritri, where we charged 20 ADA, and that stress tested our platform. All those royalties went towards Veritri, which then planted trees in Africa and in Canada. So we've done 3 of those. So far we've planted 127,000 physical trees.
That's impressive.
And at the same time, that utility comes through. And then yes, following that, we've then done 2 land sales. One for the zones Solace, Fortuna, and Esperanza, and we've done a custom dome sale. So continually upgrading our marketplace, investing really heavy in that, and yes, we've just completed integrating the Copi token into that marketplace. So when we do our next sale, or maybe it'll be a tree sale or a charity sale, that will be the first to use the Copi token, giving Copi token more utility. It's really exciting for it. You'll also be able to pay in ADA, so you'll have the choice, but Copi or ADA.
That's awesome to hear, and I think that's just the beginning of the utility for the Copi token. I'm sure you guys have plenty of other ideas that you guys are going to be implementing.
Well, it's a governance coin as well, so you'll be able to start voting on where our some elements that we're building into the metaverse, and part of the gameplay, district versus district, you'll also be able to do some voting of how you want to enhance your district.
Right.
So yeah, lots and lots of utility for the Copi token.
I'm excited for it. If at any point you want to drop some alpha here, feel free to do so, Rob. I definitely appreciate that. I agree. Let me not get too greedy.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we've kind of covered the Copi token, and I also want to say thank you, by the way, for the GTI Javelin, because I was one of those recipients of the free GTI Javelin. And so as a member of the community, I think it really went a long way as to your guys' character, because it showed the community, hey, these guys are not just in it for the ADA, right? They really want to make sure that the community is also happy. And so that's what that really showed me about Cornucopias when you guys took that action. So I commend you and the team for that. Thank you guys very much.
No, I think for us, we Josh and myself and the rest of the team, we started on Cardano as community members, and yeah, we came in looking, I suppose, to maybe look at Cardano as a technology, and then we decided, yeah, we're going to build something on here. This is an amazing, and now we have our own community as well.
Right.
So we're still part of the Cardano community. We have our own community, and there's also a couple of guilds that are building around us. So now we've got a community of a community of a community.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, it's amazing. You have to pinch yourself. It's really surreal.
Let me pinch you there. Yeah. I also want to give a big shout out though to the guilds, like you mentioned, that showed up. So I believe we had the Corn Mafia. I saw some pictures of you guys visiting their booth. We also had Tunnel Vision with Ezra and Cheryl. And then we also had, I believe, the Knights Guild. Yep. And so hopefully they're going to be able to all have booths next year at CNFTCon. I'm definitely looking forward to that. And so in wrapping that up, I want to talk a little bit more about gamification of the metaverse, right? So obviously, you guys are game first. But you guys are also projects. So you guys have to, find ways to obviously make revenue to keep things going in the ecosystem. And so, what initiatives or what things are you guys doing right now to make sure that the ecosystem is diversified, sustainable, and that people can really play the game while earning? Because you guys are also learn to earn, build to earn,
Yep.
And then I believe host to earn as well. So how are you guys gamifying the entire metaverse?
Yeah, I mean, building a AAA game is really, really expensive, and we've taken the decision that we don't want to use off-the-shelf graphics. So we build all the graphics ourselves, which is really expensive. So, so we're building every blade of grass all the way up to the cloud. So, they're procedurally generated, but we build everything ourselves. So I think part of building that team up is increases our roadmap, because you have to have all these assets ready before you can start building the gameplay. But our developers, I think they're quite proud of the fact that they don't know much about blockchain. So they're building a fun game. It has to make sense. It has to be fun to play. They're not thinking, how can we monetize this bit? How can we do that?
Right.
So and they're really strong, saying, look, this is kind of our vision as well. So we're collaborating together, and I think that comes through when you see the game. But it is expensive. So we have done land sales, and we have done bubble jet sales. So we're trying to find that balance. I think on our roadmap, we had too many sales for this year. I think as we went into the bear market, the community was saying, you've got too many, and we listened to them and we took them off. So we will have sales in the future. They won't all raise as much as some previous ones. Also, we'll have a lot smaller mints, but we will have to continue to raise money as the year goes on, because building a AAA game is really, really expensive. But finding that balance, but I think that's why having events like this is really, really important, so people can see that the money is going to good use. We've come here with 2 multiplayer games that people have got their hands on, and they've been really, really well received. The 40K, 60 FPS, and we'll continue to test in the public. So we're trying to give back and support the community. And yeah, I mean, I think it's been received really positively.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think what you mentioned earlier, about being gamers first and building the game, right? Yeah. And then letting all of the economic pieces kind of fall behind, instead of the other way where you're leading, with how to make revenue and all these things. I think that kind of skews, or that can skew, how you guys develop the game. So I think the way that you guys are approaching it is definitely the right way. And again, the community is very supportive. And so, Rob, we're going to wrap up here on a light note. What's been your highlight here of the past week, right? Obviously, I think, you having Charles, or maybe Charles beating you, right? Did he beat you?
No, he did not beat me. No.
But between, you playing with Charles, being at CNFT Con, being here at Rarebloom, talking to so many people, what's been your highlight, or what's been your biggest takeaway from all of this?
I think we should learn from the top down. Charles, he makes himself available. He didn't have to come to these community events. He is here. He's supporting his supporters.
Yes.
He went round to every single booth. He came over and he played our game. And we believe in that community ourselves. And that was the highlight for me, was actually to have Charles play our game. Another highlight, I suppose, was the 9-year-old boy being the first ever player of Cornucopias.
Yes.
Because we like to have this family ethos, and if you go in our Discord, it's really, really friendly.
Yes.
So to have a child play our game first was absolutely incredible. Meeting some of the team members, there was 12 of them over, and we're all over the world.
Right.
And it's difficult to get the team together. So actually meeting people that I've been working with nearly every day for 9 months, face to face,
right,
was another highlight. the traveling wasn't a highlight. I
Really?
don't really like traveling.
I saw some of the pictures that you and Josh took along your road trip. You guys look like you guys were having fun. In Vegas.
When we're here, yeah, we had some downtime. So we had a night outside the Bellagio, looking at the water fountains and trying to soak in Vegas for one night. That's the only night that really that we've gone out and not really let our hair down. We kind of walked the strip a little bit, but that was a really good relaxing and team bonding for us, because Josh and Jeff, they're both in America and I are both in the UK.
Right.
So we have our time together is really precious as well. But yeah, I mean, so many highlights.
Yes. Well, it looks like you guys definitely made the most of your time here. Rob, you were sharing with me, your highlights and your biggest takeaways from this. And I just kind of wanted to mention, what I got from this event, which was, the community, right? It's growing. We were able to see Charles. I was able to meet other crypto content creators here. I was able to meet fans of the channel, talk to guild members from the Cornucopias community. And so there was just so much. And I just want to say that I'm thankful for that. But do you have any closing words for us here?
I've just enjoyed this entire experience. It'll be great to look back next week and think, wow, that was amazing. 12 days of my life, meeting everyone. So the community, Cornucopias supporters, influencers, Charles, other builders in the space, some connections that we made with other projects, maybe future collaborations, things to follow up on. Because it was also a networking event as well as just to promote our game and show our game. So yeah, it was one massive enjoyable experience.
I agree, and I saw you and the rest of the Copy pack making your way through the Rarebloom showroom floor, kind of making your way, talking to different projects. So again, I appreciate what you guys are doing. For those of you who are watching, this was the first ever Rarebloom event here in Denver, Colorado. We also just had the very first ever CNFT Con that took place in Las Vegas. And so if you guys did not get a chance to come out here, I highly recommend that you guys look and plan to attend these events next year. You guys are not only going to be able to meet people in the community, but you're also going to be able to see people like Rob and other big builders within the Cardano ecosystem. And so if you don't have any other words, Rob, we're going to go ahead and close out the interview here. Again, thank you for your time.
No, thank you for your time as well.
Thank you.